Throw it on the shoulder. You ready? Hey everybody, coming at you from the great outdoors with a special guest, my dad. Say hi, Dad.
Hi.
So now, in the last video, I made an axe for my bicycle project, the trailer and bike, and then I talked about a cot that I had for the trailer. And I've done a bunch of modifications to it, and everything won't fit in one video, but this is all building up to the bike project. Now, this thing weighs 26 pounds. You can't backpack it in, so I enlisted the strength of my dad to carry it in with his shoulder. So we're going to set it up and talk about it, and I'm going to show you all the modifications that I did to it, where you can actually take it. This is like your typical army cot, but you can literally turn it into a neat little house in the woods. So anything you want to add?
No.
All right, well let's get busy with it. All right, so we have our cot here, and this is a bag. I was going to make a bag for it, but it turns out that I found this bag at the bargain bin, and my dad and my brother and I are all big fans of the bargain bins. So, and this is an extra heavy duty bag really, because this thing actually, it's lined with fleece. I couldn't believe it. I found that, and it's just about the right length with a little extra room. So, you know, if you were cold enough, see the inside of that bag? That's amazing. It's fleece. Have you ever seen a bag like that at the bargain bin?
No.
That was a one of a kind. It's the only time I've ever seen anything like that. It zips up. That thing's awesome. Let's set this over here to the side. And I'm gonna set this backpack down, and I'm gonna show you in a minute what all we have to turn this into a neat little house. Now, the way this thing works is there's some straps on here. Now, this is a 1952. So that makes it 72 years old, and this thing is still in good, workable, usable shape. All right, so we got some legs. No, these are the end pieces. Now, let's see, I'm gonna fold this thing out. Now the way this folds out is, let's see, that's the center legs right there. And then these fold around this way. Now there's a place on here. It says U.S. something woodwork in 1952. Now I'm gonna go ahead and try to show you this. Let's see. Is that in shot right there?
It's in there, yes.
U.S. if you can read it or not, it says something woodwork 1952. All right. Now. This, most people when they see cots like this, they say, oh, that's a World War II Army cot. Well, this one's not. This one has the CD mark on it. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. Now these ends, am I still in shot here?
Yep.
Okay. Now these ends, the way they go on is you slide them on like that. I'm just going to set that one there. I'm going to show you a trick for putting these things together. There's little pegs on the end here that goes into this wood. And this slides into here. Alright, now that goes on there. And that goes on there. Now, you got to pull that down a little bit. Pull that down a little bit so that these holes are right in the center. Now the trick to putting this together is you'll stand it up, put your foot on one end, put that peg in, just like that, and then you lift this end up. Now I got to pull it out to stretch it out. Come on. It's kind of a tricky operation.
Wait a minute, let me help you.
Well, let me set it back down.
Okay.
There it is.
All right.
Now, let's see this right here. Now, do you see the CD on it?
Yeah.
Doesn't that stand for Civil Defense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I figure if anybody knew for sure, Dad would know, because he was in the military in the 60s. Now, the cool thing about this, the cool thing is, for those of you kids that play Fallout, since this has the Civil Defense marking on it, and it was during the Cold War of 1952, this might have actually been in a real fallout shelter. Ain't that neat? So, alright, let's take a look at what all we're going to use to turn this into a cute little house. Alright, let's get the stuff out of this pack that's going to be used on this thing. Now, the first thing is just a USGI foam mat. You don't have to have one, but I'm going to use one. Alright, because it kind of helps. It kind of helps to hold the bug net down. Alright, let's get inside here. Take a look. They have. I don't need none of this. Alright, we have some tent pegs. That was the inspiration for doing this. They came from the bargain bin. Not tent pegs, tent poles. And then there's more tent poles in here. Some small bungees. This is the little homemade hardware bag. Then we have a tarp, a poncho liner, and a bug net. Alright, so let's put this over here. We're going to lay all this stuff out right here. Now, the first thing that we're going to use is these tent poles. Now, these tent poles right here, they're lightweight aluminum. Dad, how do you pronounce aluminum?
Aluminum.
Everybody rags me because I can't pronounce this. But anyway, these things here, you can buy these online. Very lightweight. But these came from the bargain bin. I only gave like $3 for them. And I don't know if they already come assembled or not, but they're called DAC. And I bought these years ago and I was like, what am I going to do with these things? And see, they're lightweight aluminum tent poles. And they got some sort of a thing here that pops in. Now the ends of them have these things that hold, they're supposed to hold the shock cord inside them that they unscrew. So you don't necessarily want to stab that in the ground, but I have a way of securing this to ground that's homemade. Now, you take these and you just give them a little bit of a shove in without bending them, and you just kind of set them down, just like that. Alright, you take them just like this, and see, they just sort of pop together, very lightweight, and they just drop in right there, just like that. Isn't that cool? So that's what starts to set up your framework. Now inside here, I have some homemade stuff, and let's see, I got some tent pegs, I got some paracord. Now this, Dad would recognize this. You know what that is. That's just plain old 1/2-inch stainless steel tubing. And I've polished the end up real good, real slick, and then I crushed this end with a vise and radiused it. So what you do is you stab this in the ground and you set the tent pole in it. So let's do this end up here. Let's see how this goes. We'll do one end, one side. So you just slide it on like that, and you just shove it in the ground. And that's what keeps it secure. Isn't that cool? So we're going to do this end. Now I'm not going to do the other side just yet because we have to have a way of securing this up at the top, and I have a homemade piece for that too. And inside this little bag, I have two pieces here. And knowing as how my dad raised me, I'll ask one simple question: Dad, did I buy these or did I make them?
You made them.
Right guess. Now what they are is they're a little round piece of black plastic drilled and tapped with a Allen bolt. There's a hole that goes through here, and then you slide this up just like this. Now I think there's an Allen wrench in here. Yeah, there's an Allen wrench. Alright, so we're going to kind of tighten this up just a little bit. And that's what's going to hold the top pole. Just like that. And then we'll go back over here to the other one. We'll slide this in. And see, everything's real nice and round and radiused. That way we won't be poking a hole in our bug net or our tarp. Alright. Now, like I say, in the future, all this stuff is going to be in the bike trailer. And there's really not that many items to go with it. The bulk of it is the thing here. Now this is another thing, and it's got a bunch of small bungees attached to it. And I'm going to try to unravel all these because there's going to be a use for these later. These are little tiny mini bungees, and I figure this would be a good place to put them on, is to wrap them on. But they're made out of 1/8" shock cord. You can buy the ends on Amazon, and then you can buy like 50 feet of this shock cord and make little mini bungees. That's going to help to support the bug net. So let's get all this stuff off, just like that. I got several of them. I think there's more in that bag over there because I actually had more than one use for these. Alright, let's see. I hope I brought the right ones. Then we have just some common poles. Now these I like to call miracle poles. Because the reason that they're miracle poles is because by some miracle, I have a big box full of old fiberglass tent poles. By some miracle, this not only matches a factory military bug net, but it also matches my tarp. So I'm going to show you how this goes in next. So now you just take the tent poles and you just slide them through. That's the rusty end. These go through that way. Alright, just like that. Alright. That goes just like that. And this goes just right here. Alright, and that kind of gives it a little bit of support. Now, the bug net. I'm probably going to get a lot of comments on people that are going to be like, you know, they had those military bug nets with the frames. Well, some cots had the wooden poles. Do you remember ever seeing them, Dad, years ago? You ever did?
No.
Okay. Well, anyway, you slept in bunks, didn't you?
Yeah, we didn't.
Dad slept in bunks on the Air Force Base. They didn't have to sleep in these old things. But I guess the fallout shelters, since that had CD on it, I guess the fallout shelters had them. But anyway, some of the cots had holes drilled in them, and they had a square wooden frame that the bug net would sit over. So this one isn't drilled for it, and I ain't going to drill it, and I don't have one of those frames. So this is a pretty modern bug net. This is a military bug net, and it's a mystery who made it because the tag on it is just so weird, because I guess it's a military item, I don't know, but it says, are you getting that in shot?
Yeah.
Okay. Insect net protector, and it's got the number on it. And it says Southeastern Kentucky Rehabilitation Industries. Now what does that tell you? Southeastern Kentucky Rehabilitation. Can you guess? I would guess that prisoners made this.
Oh, okay.
Wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
Now this thing has tie-outs all over it because it is made for some sort of bug protection for a cot. And it's got tie-outs all over it. And the reason that I call the tent poles a miracle is because this thing has corners. There they are. See that? See that fabric sewn in? It has a corner protector that the wood is supposed to set in, and by some miracle, the length of this is just right for this tent pole. So, and I found that out by accident. This wasn't planned. Now let me see if I can find that again. There it is right there. Okay, you see that right there? That just happens to sit over that end. And if I come over here and pull this, by some miracle, like I said, this wasn't planned, it just happened. There is another one right there. Right there. As a matter of fact, look at that, that's got a hole in it. That's even better. I like it even better. I wonder if this has got a hole. Yep, it sure does. Look at that. That is awesome. So you slide that all the way up to it, and you'll slide this all the way up to it, and there's your bug protection right there. Now, even with the wooden frame, I watched a video by an old military guy, and he said that you're supposed to tuck this under. That there's really no tying it in. You'll tuck this under, just like that. And then you'll put your mat on it. Now for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out so that we can get an inside view and I can put the mat in there. And we're just going to kind of lift this up and set it on top. Alright. So we can see inside here, and I've got this foam mat now, and what you want to do is you take this and you just fold this under. Just like that. And then I'm going to fold the ends in a minute. And let's see, you put the foam pad in there, and then the foam pad holds it down. Just like that. Isn't that cool? Nice and comfy, and you got a nice bug net there. If it's not going to rain, you don't have to have a roof over it if you don't want to. Now here's the other part right here that I want to show you. See how there's a sag? Can you see that? Or can you see it over here? See how there's a sag and it'll like hit your feet? That's where these bungees are going to come in. Now I'm going to stake these other two down to keep from pulling it together. And then we're going to put some bungee cords over the ends right here. So we got this one side hooked down, and I'm fixing to put this other side on here. I just did the other end. And see, you don't want to stab your pole right in the ground. So this just slides right up on there. And then you're going to stab it in the ground and it holds no problem. So now let's try this. Let's try these bungees. Because all you want is to keep this thing from sagging down. So I'm going to lift this up. Let's see if this works. I don't know how much bungees we're going to need. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Well, it kind of pulls it in. That's a little too much. Let's try it this way. Yeah, it pulled it in at the top. So I need to go, let's pull this out. Let's put this on the outside of that piece. That don't make much sense, but I guess it does to me. We're going outside that piece. Now let's see if we can do this without it pulling it together too much. That might. Let me get another bungee. See what we can do here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to custom make some sizes for these bungees. Okay, now that's gonna stay. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna flop this back around, and then we're gonna tuck it under the mat. Because not only do we not want this touching the ground for water purposes, but we don't want it touching the ground because ants can crawl up it. See, that just gets tucked right under there, just like that. Ain't that cool? And so see, we got a dip here, but we don't have a dip here, so that the feet won't be touching it as bad. And I'm gonna do the same thing up here at the head end. We got a bungee here kind of holding this up. We'll slide this under. So that end is done. Now, what we're gonna do next, look, there's another bungee. Oh. All right, let's throw this over and crawl in real quick. You just see how it feels. Oh. Make sure I'm on solid ground. Oh yeah. Do I look comfortable?
Yes.
I'm very comfortable. All right, now the idea behind this thing is when you crawl inside, let's put this bug net back. Actually, I think what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna leave that bug net out like that. You can either leave it out to where you've got more room inside here, or you can pull it out like that. And then when you crawl inside, you'll tuck it under. So now what we're gonna do, oh, and here's a blanket. If you want a blanket, you just pull this out, throw it in. Then you can take a bag like this and you can fill it full of leaves or clothes, and it'll be a pillow if you want. So let's throw that blanket inside there. Now, for the tarp, by some miracle, I made this tarp 4 years ago. Some of you have probably seen it. It's a ripstop nylon pin cot Badlands. And by some miracle, it is perfect for this length. I don't know why, but this is the waterproof ripstop material. And right in the middle where I put the seam, and like I said, that's why these are called miracle poles. None of this was planned. There's the seam, and it just happens to fit the length of these poles, which is just mind-blowing. I couldn't believe it. It blew my mind. Now, if you think it's going to be dry, you can leave this off. If you think there ain't going to be any rain, you'll get a lot more air this way. And see, now all we got to do is take some stakes and stake out the ends, and we'll be good to go. Whoop, without tripping over it.
I didn't get that.
Good, you didn't get me tripping over it.
No.
Good. All right, so let's stake it down now and see how that works. Now I just use common old stakes here, and I think it's funny. My brother bought these at the bargain bin. He found a bag of them for about 20 bucks. Now with this, what we're going to do is we're going to stab these in. Well, let's put this in like that. Now usually you want to use paracord, but I'm using bungees because if the wind blows and gets under this, this will give before it rips my tarp. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to set this down. Now, and it's not real tight, but I'm going to tighten it up. I'm going to tighten it up real good. See how I pulled it over a little bit? I'm going to pull it when I stake in the other side. So let's put in this one over here. You kind of want to do one side gently, and then you're going to pull the other side real tight. And see, you got enough of an overhang here that you ain't got to worry about no rain. Have you ever seen camo like this, Dad?
No.
That's British desert camo. Isn't that cool? It's made by a company in the UK.
Never been over there.
Never been to the desert.
No.
I never have either, and I have no plans to. All right, let's go to the other side over there and tighten it up to stake it down. All right, for some reason I ran out of the little bungee, so I'm going to use cord locks with the bungee material. So all you do here is slide this through the little loop like that, and then use a little cord lock. Now let's get a stake out. And what I want to do now is, can you see that seam up there? See the seam? I want to pull it until it's right in the center, just like that. And that is perfect right there, because I've got that droop going down there. You see it?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? That worked out just right. Now I got to pull this tight. And then the other thing I want to pay attention to is I want to make sure that the tarp comes over the bed. And it does. It's just perfect. It worked out just perfectly for these tent poles with this thing. So, let's get this thing through. And pull this down just like that. Perfect. Oh, that is perfect. All right. Now I'm going to grab the camera and do a complete walkthrough. And then I'll show you how we get inside it. Ain't that cool? Isn't that a cool setup?
That is.
I love it. Can't wait to get the bicycle done so that I can take this way off in the middle of nowhere. Alright, we got a roof right there. There's a bug net. When I crawl into it, I'm going to pull it up around me. And I got a whole bunch of underhang up under there. And you can see where the tarp goes on the other side of that. And you can get a nice breeze through here, but you ain't got to worry about rain. Alright, let's walk around here. Oop, big spider web. Now you see the back of it? Let's go over here and look. Now see how much overhang we have? You could set your gear right here underneath it. Or you could hang it from there, because there's plenty of overhang, and there's a nice bug net. This is going to be great. Everything worked out just like it should. Ready to get in, and now what we're going to do here is we're going to have our backpack, this stuff, we're going to put it under this little eave right here. See, we'll put it right under that eave. Now I'm going to tuck this part in, just like that. Now I don't know if the eave would hold up the weight of the backpack. I might put it on the other side and try it. But for now, I can set it under there, and there's actually a lot more overhang on the back side, so I'm probably going to move it back there. But let's see if we can crawl inside it and tuck it under. I don't know if you'll be able to see me or not. We're going to lay the blanket out. Oh. Alright. We're going to tuck this part under so that all that's here is my feet. Look, there's a bug already. There was an ant already on it. So what we do now is take our shoes off, set them inside here. You think you can see me, or do you need to walk a little closer?
Oh, I think you can see.
Alright. So now we take the bug net and just pull the bug net up under our foam mat. And see, it's not touching the ground, and there's overhang. I don't have to worry about rain hitting it and coming down. Look, there's an ant crawling around on the outside up there. And I'm nice and just tucked in now. And this thing kind of gives a little bit. I can pull it over if I have to. So here we are. Oh, nice and cozy. I'm inside the shelter. When you get the view here, you can see that overhang right there is only about a foot. But I think that overhang is a lot more than a foot. So the backpack probably needs to sit on the back side. But anyway, here's my view. And see my feet are just barely, well, I can scoot up some. I got a little bit of room. Okay, I'm 5'11", and I'm touching right there. You can see Dad outside. Dad's out there patiently waiting. Hey, what do you think about this being all homemade? That everything is made and added together, and the cot is the only thing that's government factory made.
I think you did a great job.
I'm very happy with it.
I believe Jasper likes it too.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, he's right up there on the hill watching.
Oh, is he? There he is. Can you see him? There's Jasper. Let's see if I can zoom in on him. I've got zoom on this camera. There's Jasper.
Hey, Jasper.
All right, well, this was a lot of fun. Let me turn this thing around now. And here I am up here. I just need to get one of those bags and put some extra clothes in it, and I'll have a pillow here. This is kind of falling down. I need some extra bungees to kind of hold this up, I think. So, anyway, I think this thing worked great. I'm very extremely happy with it.
You'd be asleep in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I probably would be. And there's still a breeze coming through here. That's what's nice about it. So that's it for the cot. I love it. It's got Dad's approval. He thinks it's cool. Would you spend the night in it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd spend the afternoon in it, too.
yeah. Because you're protected from the sun, you're protected from the bugs, but you still got a nice breeze going through this bug net. So I think this is going to be great. Now all I got to do now is I got to get back home, and today is the day I'm going to start on the bicycle. I'm going to start taking it apart because everything else is ready. I've got the axe, I got a shovel and a bow saw, I've got the shelter built for the cot. I just got to have a way of carrying it into the woods. Well, that's not gas powered. So I had a lot of fun. It was great spending time with Dad and having him out here. Anything you want to add?
No, we did good.
Okay, and we had a lot of fun. So we just wish it was a little bit cooler so we could have coffee. So
We're going to the house and have coffee.
Yeah, we're going to.
Before he leaves.
We'll go to the house and air conditioning and have coffee. All right, so take it easy and enjoy life and get out and hang around with your family as often as you can. I know life's busy. I don't get down here that often, but I need to, and I'll try to. So we shall.
Well, now this is our Memorial Weekend too.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so
that's right. Happy Memorial Weekend.
We got to see each other down here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be with each other, which is great.
Yeah, definitely. Life is just so busy. I work in the same place he worked, so we both did a lifetime of overtime. So he's retired now and doesn't have to fool with it, and he laughs at the stories I tell. So take it easy, enjoy life, and we shall see you in the next one. Say bye, Dad.
Bye. We call him your master. Guard dog.
Guard dog. Watching over the shelter.